The book of Leviticus is the third book in the Bible. It is part of the Torah, the foundational texts of Judaism, and is also significant in Christianity. It might seem like an unusual book, full of rules and rituals that can feel strange to us today. These rules cover various aspects of daily life, from dietary laws to moral conduct. However, at its heart, Leviticus is about something universal and profoundly important: holiness. Holiness is a central theme that resonates across different cultures and religions. It explores what it means to live in a right relationship with God, who is described as holy, completely pure, and set apart. This relationship is not just about rituals but also about ethical living and justice. The book's name, Leviticus, comes from the Levites, the tribe of Israel tasked with priestly duties. These duties were crucial for maintaining the spiritual and communal life of the Israelites. Much of the book deals with instructions for the priests, outlining their responsibilities in maintaining the tabernacle, the portable sanctuary where God's presence resided among the Israelites. These instructions include detailed rituals for sacrifices, purification, and atonement, emphasizing the importance of approaching God with reverence and respect. To understand Leviticus, we need to understand its historical context. The book picks up right after the Israelites' dramatic exodus from Egypt. They find themselves at Mount Sinai, where God makes a covenant with them, promising to be their God, and they in turn promise to be His people. This covenant is a defining moment in the Israelites' history, marking the beginning of their unique relationship with God. However, their journey is marked by a fundamental problem: sin. The Israelites struggle to live up to the covenant's demands, and their sin creates a barrier between them and a holy God. The word holy is central to Leviticus. It means set apart or dedicated to God. God's holiness is absolute and unique. He is the source of all holiness, and nothing can compare to His purity and perfection. The Israelites, chosen by God, were called to be holy as He is holy. This call wasn't about becoming divine, but about reflecting God's character in their lives. It meant living differently, setting themselves apart from the surrounding nations by adhering to God's laws and living ethically and morally. Section 4. Sacrifices and Atonement. One of the key ways the Israelites sought to bridge the gap between their sinfulness and God's holiness was through sacrifices. These acts were not just rituals but profound expressions of faith and repentance. They were deeply embedded in the daily lives of the people, serving as constant reminders of their need for divine grace. Leviticus outlines a detailed system of offerings, each with a specific purpose designed to atone for sin and purify individuals and the community. There were burnt offerings, grain offerings, peace offerings, sin offerings, and guilt offerings. Each type of sacrifice had its own significance and method, reflecting the multifaceted nature of atonement and worship. These sacrifices were a tangible way for the Israelites to acknowledge their sin and seek God's forgiveness. They provided a structured way to deal with guilt and shame, allowing the community to maintain a right relationship with God. The act of sacrifice was both a personal and communal experience, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose. However, the sacrifices themselves couldn't fully cleanse them from sin. They pointed towards a future perfect sacrifice, Jesus Christ. The Old Testament sacrifices were a foreshadowing of the ultimate act of redemption that would come through Jesus. They were a temporary measure, highlighting the need for a more permanent solution. Jesus, through His death on the cross, became the ultimate and final sacrifice, atoning for the sins of humanity once and for all. His sacrifice was perfect and complete, fulfilling the requirements of the law and offering a path to eternal reconciliation with God. This act of love and grace is the cornerstone of Christian faith, symbolizing the ultimate atonement and the end of the old sacrificial system. Section 5. The Legacy of Leviticus. Leviticus, despite its ancient context, holds enduring relevance for us today. This book, often overlooked, is a treasure trove of wisdom and guidance. While we may not live under the same laws and rituals, the book's central message about holiness and our relationship with God remains vital. It calls us to a higher standard of living, one that reflects divine principles. Leviticus challenges us to examine our own lives. It asks us to look inward and question our motives and actions. Are we striving to live holy lives set apart for God's purposes? Are we making conscious efforts to align our lives with the teachings of this ancient text? Are we seeking to live ethically and morally, reflecting God's character in a world that often seems to have forgotten Him? The principles laid out in Leviticus are timeless, urging us to act with integrity and compassion. Through exploring Leviticus, we gain a deeper understanding of God's character and His desire for a relationship with us. It opens our eyes to the depth of His love and the seriousness with which He views our actions. It reveals His heart of love and mercy, even as it highlights the seriousness of sin and the need for atonement. The rituals and laws, though ancient, point us to the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus Christ. Leviticus serves as a powerful reminder that true holiness is not achieved through our own efforts but through God's grace, made available through Jesus Christ. It is a call to embrace this grace and live a life that honors Him.